So, hey,
Thank you,
Michael.
Courtney. Hey, homie. Thank you.
Hey.
Greetings, everyone. Nice to see all of you. We'll get to know each other a little bit more when we meet that Tuesday night. And just make sure Courtney will send you the information, the time. Like she said, it'll be 5 p.m. PST. She'll send you the link. Make sure that you have that ready. You mark it off on your calendar. Try to allot 2 hours for that call of, if you can, uninterrupted space for yourself. If you have to call in and, while you're driving home from work or, even while you're at work, you can listen to it kind of like podcast or something. But if you can dedicate 2 hours of time, we're going to do journaling. We're going to be working together. We're going to be moving through certain things. So it's going to be something that you'll be glad that you did coming out the other end. You're going to walk away with something that you'll be able to have moving forward that's going to help you during your integration journey. So, just some quick little tips. I've been doing this quite a few years now. This medicine changed my own life. And then I got into this work kind of just out of the universe just kind of dropped me here to start doing this. So I've worked with hundreds of people, and I see what the same things that people kind of struggle with, the same things that kind of put people into off-roading, so to speak. So the biggest thing right now is you can let go of all the self-help books, okay? All the podcasting about the medicine, all the YouTubers. You can just like let all that go right now because you don't need to feed the mind any more curiosity. You don't need to feed the mind any more questions. You signed up to come. Um, and you're going to get a very authentic experience. It's something that Courtney does extreme due diligence. She knows who to bring in to serve you the medicine. So just know you're going to get the real deal, and you don't need to keep looking. You found a good place. Like you're good. So you can let go of all that stuff because sometimes it can feed the fear, so to speak. You're going to feel, for those of you that this was your first time, you're going to be a little nervous and anxious. It's normal. If you weren't that way, I would be very surprised. So, it's very normal. Things inside of you are going to get woken up that have been sleeping for a long time. Ayahuasca is an expressive medicine. It brings to the surface everything that we hide from ourselves. And sometimes we're not even hiding it from ourselves because we didn't even know it was there. It was imprinted on us from an early age. We brought it in from birth. We never know, but the medicine brings it out for us to look at. So there's no reason to kind of feed that anymore. So it will feel good. You know, just spend time being peaceful until your retreat. Um, Another recommendation, just to come in as sober as possible. Follow Courtney's recommendations. They really do make a difference. Just the recreational substances, like the farther you can be away from them, the better. Like, cannabis, there's nothing wrong with it at all. You just want to be away from it. Like 2 weeks is like a good time frame. If you can do even farther, even better, because these plant medicines teach us in a certain frequency or vibration, however you want to look at it. When we put other types of information into our body, our radio signal, lack of for a better word, our antenna can be disrupted a little bit. It's looking for other signals. It's like the best way that I can describe it. So you want to be like centered in your own energy. So when you go to communicate with the medicine and when the medicine communicates with you, you're like ready to meet it, ready to meet Yahe, ayahuasca. So that's the biggest thing that I kind of see people that cause them a little disturbance coming into it is the substances beforehand, and kind of the continuing to like make sure that this is what you want to do. If all of you are already committed to it, you're on this call, you're in the right place. And then just make that call because it's not about like me telling you what to do or anything like that. The call is about you reconnecting with each other. It's it's going to feel very good for all of you to talk with each other, to see each other's faces, because all of you are going to share a very intimate weekend together that no one else in your life is going to understand. If this is your first time, um, no one else in your life is going to understand what you're about to go through. It's just the truth of it. They can think. They can be like the most spiritual, meditative person in the world, but they do not have any idea what it's like to interact with Yahweh. They just don't understand. So you're going to get to meet and be with people that do understand, and then you're going to get to reconnect with them on this call, and you're going to work together. You're going to talk with each other. The energy really is going to be strong with you coming in Tuesday night, and you're going to speak into that energy, and you're going to see what that energy means for your life. So then you're going to leave and you're going to have a way forward. You're going to have like a little path to walk, some clarity that you're going to get. So that's the most important thing. And then just remember when you go home, be careful when you go home. Like triggering conversations, like you do not need to be talking about politics or like getting into a combative conversation with someone or anything like that because you're going to feel it so much more. So when you come home, prepare your environment to be as peaceful as possible. Because if the people you're coming home to don't understand that you're going to be a little sensitive, then you got to let them know. Be like, hey, when I come home, like, like maybe I don't want to like go right out to eat or like go to a bar or, do my typical weekly shindigs. Like I might need that week to take a day off, which I'm going to recommend very strongly. If you can take a day off that week, you're going to appreciate it. If you can't, no problem. And just do as minimal as possible to keep your life functioning and going that week after. Like you're just going to be a little tired. You're going to be processing a lot of information. So you're going to want to just set your life up the best that you can post retreat. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt and do the best you can with it. And lastly, when you come home, you are going to be seeing things differently, right? You're going to be noticing things differently. So things might change for you. So just be open to changing when you come home. Like your favorite TV show that you've been watching your whole life, you might find out that you don't really like it anymore. Like you never really know. So just like be open when you come home. Just prepare yourself to just be open, just to be true to yourself. And that's the best place you can be, and the medicine will show you the rest. All we can be is just kind of open. That's the best place to be. So there's no real thing you have to do to prepare. Follow Courtney's guidelines. Just kind of go with an open self. Something brought you to this place, and that's all that you need to know. And then just trust the process. So I have a question in the chat. Does avoiding beef or pork actually make a difference? Yes, it does. Because this is a physical journey. Many of you know you're about to throw up, right? It's not called throwing up, it's called purging. So just think about it. If you eat a bunch of beef and pork that week, and then you go into a ceremony when this medicine is a purgative medicine, you don't want that density in your gut too much, because not only is that density hard on your physical world, but it's hard on your emotional world. So when the medicine is going to purge whatever needs to purge from you. Every single one of you is will be different. But when you need to purge, because a lot of times when you purge, you're purging up emotions, you're purging up memories, you're purging up experiences that you're trying to heal. It could be a trauma, it could be who knows what it is. And that stuff sitting in your gut, trust me, when you try to get that out, it's a lot harder to do than if you ate a little lighter that week. So follow Courtney's recommendations on the food. We don't give out like crazy dietas or anything. It's general things, but you don't want to go eating like a dense beef and pork meal too close to that retreat. So the lighter you can be, just think of it like that. But you don't need to like kill yourself either, you know? You don't need to white knuckle it. Are the directions on specifically to avoid on the website? I think Courtney will email them you. She'll answer that with you here. Oh, that's what this call's for. She's going to go over those specific details that she'll give you too. So, but any other questions on the integration stuff or anything that I talked about other than that? You can either hop on the Zoom or type in the chat. Otherwise, I'll give it back to Courtney if anybody has any
Yeah,
questions.
hi, yeah.
Yes. What's
How's it
up,
going?
John?
I'm John. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for all that. Yeah, I'm just wondering about the Medicine Man and just like some background with them and a little bit more of like their style. I would say.
Courtney is gonna dive
You
into
gonna
that
with
with
that?
you
Okay.
here in just a moment.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. That's a big part of this call. Yes, Marty.
Yeah, does everyone typically get sick, or does it just kind of depend on what you're dealing with in your journey?
Yeah, I'll be honest, you have a very good chance of purging, but purging is not always throwing
Physical.
up. Like I don't even like to call it throwing up because it's unlike anything you've ever experienced if you've never done it before. It does not feel like I caught a stomach bug and I'm throwing up. It is like when you go to purge,
Cathartic.
yeah, you're gonna be so grateful. It's gonna
Okay.
be a beautiful experience. But sometimes purging comes out the other end. Sometimes you cry, laugh, yawn, sing. It's make noises, stretch. Like the medicine is gonna move energy the way that it needs to, but purging is a very common thing.
Okay.
But I know people that drank the medicine many times that don't
So
purge.
just you purge the energy in different ways, whether it be
Totally,
laughing,
yeah. And it
being
also
farting,
has a
whatever.
huge dependent on the person serving it as well.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah. Yes, Andrew.
Hey, Michael and folks. So two-part question actually. So regarding integration, do you have any kind of like a stance or tips on reintegrating back to medication? I know in that email that we got, some of the tips were around kind of weaning off specific medications that folks might be on. So as it pertains to kind of coming back from that, have you
Yeah,
guys
you
experienced
got to
that?
be very careful just as like I'm not a medical professional. I can't dive too deeply into that. If I'm being vague, it's on purpose, just because Courtney might chime in on this too. Um, but just remember that plant medicine is a very holistic, and like it is here to help take you in a certain direction. And if other things are going to take you in a different direction, we can become conflicted. So that's also why I recommend 30 days sobriety after the your experience too, because this medicine is going to walk you like down a path. It's going to open you up into something. Who knows what it is? And then other things can cloud it. It can turn too much of different types of information. We can get confused. So until you really know what the medicine did for you, my recommendation is before we bring other things in, give it time. That's it.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah. And second quick question, actually. I know energy drinks are a no-go, so I assume pre-workout would be lumped into that too, right?
Well, the thing about that stuff is, it just might like wouldn't make you feel too good. Like you're going to be very, very sensitive, especially when you leave. So if you took a pre-workout like Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, it would be like you taking 5 scoops instead of one. So it's not that it like the pre-workout thing isn't like I would probably not use it. Courtney has her specific recommendations, but I wouldn't recommend it before or after too close to the retreat. Yeah,
Yeah.
like the nitric oxide stuff. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, like the C4. I actually
Yeah,
would
I just kind of would
tough.
let all that kind of give it a break before you're going to be very sensitive when you leave. So,
Got it.
yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. All right, Courtney, I think you got it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, you guys. Yeah, and just, to reiterate, the best way to prepare for a retreat and to integrate it is absolute sobriety. You don't need to take mushrooms, you don't need to microdose or anything. You don't need to do anything except be the most clear-headed you can absolutely be. Again, it's a lot of information that you're going to be getting, and you're getting in touch with yourself and getting to know yourself better. So it's really best just to do that with yourself and your process and the medicine. A lot of people will make crazy recommendations about like, oh, you should get some mushrooms and you should do this or do that. Please don't listen to any of that. It's really a lot of information. It's a huge process to go through and just do that in the clearest, calmest environment that you absolutely can.
I'll just say one thing to that, Courtney. So when you hear those recommendations about the mushrooms or take this medicine to help you integrate, Courtney and we get to see people a year, 12 months, 13 months, 14 months down the road after they experience the medicine. So we get to see what works for them long term, not just like when they're feeling really great and they give you this advice because they're feeling really great and they think that it helped them. But in reality, what happens is 4, 5, 6 months down the road, they're confused. They're having trouble putting themselves back together because they did too much in a short amount of period of time. And then 6, 7 months down the road, they're wondering why they're a little confused and they need some work to put themselves back together again. So we want you to be healthy and well long term, not just like have an experience and feel great and then need it again, you know? So that's why we reckon the sobriety is, like Courtney said, it is the real deal here. So anyway,
Yeah, and we've worked with this for a long time and we both made mistakes with our process and our integration. And
yes.
I was the person that, took mushrooms after retreat or jumped to a San Pedro retreat the next weekend or, did a lot of these things and didn't do the work. And I definitely made my process a lot longer and I learned every lesson the hard way. So it's definitely with Michael and I, the voice of experience speaking. It's not coming from some like dogmatic, like weird spiritual belief that we have. It's from experience, with with Hummingbird, in the 4 years that we've been a church and like actually been, keeping track of data and who's come, we've had 3,104 people come through ceremony. And that's a lot of people for this space. And most people don't ever experience the results of that. And we've done 308 ceremonies and 104 retreats. So it's a lot to do and it's a lot of people to see and really we're looking at every retreat and seeing how can we make it better. Um, if there's something we experience or people experience and we're talking to everybody, we're updating our recommendations on that. But we feel pretty confident in what we recommend and what we say because we've done it and also a lot of people have gone through it. Um, so yeah, so the preparation instructions, I will resend that out when I send your check-in emails, which will go out probably on Sunday. Um, if you need the instructions, just email info@Hummingbird Church and I'll resend those out to you. That's no problem. Again, the diet's not super crazy. We're giving you the bare minimum to prepare for, so really try to follow those instructions. Um, you you really want to, if you're struggling with sobriety, that's okay, but don't come in a state of drug withdrawal. That's really important. We won't serve you, especially if you're withdrawing from alcohol or benzos. Those are substances that you need to medically withdraw from because you can put your life at risk to attend retreat while you're going through withdrawal. We don't want you having a seizure on the medicine or getting really sick. So you know, try to maintain sobriety for as long as you can, but absolutely do not come, within if you're having, drug withdrawal. And if you're trying to get off your medications and it's not working, or you're having a harder time than you think, or your life's starting to fall apart, you know, please reach out to us and let us know. We're not medical doctors, so we can't give you that advice, and we don't know what you're taking or how long you've been, but we can let you know, based on some facts, if it's safe or not for you to attend a retreat. Um, so with that said, we'll talk more about at the end if anybody has any questions about the preparation. But otherwise, just follow those instructions. Don't eat past 3 p.m. the day of ceremony. Remember, everything you're ingesting is going to come out either through the top or through the bottom. So you don't want to be taking in a lot of spicy food. You don't want to be eating meat. And the more whole foods you eat, the better. Fruits, vegetables, soup, salads, all those exciting things. So the retreat is going to be in Lucerne Valley, California. It is a camping retreat, but you have the option of just staying in the ceremony room. It's a big event tent. We put rugs down, you have your mats, you have your beddings, there's heaters in there, so you can be quite comfortable. We'll also give you eye masks and earplugs, because if you are sleeping in there, you're going to have people that are going to snore. So just to make yourself a little more comfortable, you can do that. You can also set up a tent, you can car camp, you can bring an RV. There will be outlets if you need to plug in devices. There's a house on the property. There are showers and there are flushing toilets. And then for ceremony, we'll be using the porta potties so that you're not having to walk like a far distance. So I know those are super exciting for everybody. But we'll keep them clean. And so you'll have those for ceremony. Um, we ask that you come to check in between 5 and 7 p.m. If you're going to be running late, that's no problem. Just let us know. Um, because we'll probably, depending on how many people are running late, we typically won't start the intros until like 8 p.m. And that's when we'll go over like all the logistics. Um, we'll talk about the super important things to remember in ceremony for your safety, give the lay of the land of where things are in the areas that you can be in. Um, and then we'll go into breath work. And then ceremony will likely start around 10 p.m. So you guys are attending the retreat with Taita Claudino, who is a 65-year-old Colombian Taita. And this guy is just an absolute, like, highly skilled, amazing curandero. Um, he's from the Watoto tribe. There was a documentary on Netflix about his tribe that came out in November that was actually like in the top 10 for a few weeks called The Lost Children. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that lineage and the deep, deep connection that they have with ayahuasca, there's an amazing documentary on Netflix, that's all footage from the Colombian military about how the Watoto people and the people in that documentary, actually Claudino's relatives, how they used ayahuasca to locate children that were lost in the jungle for 40 days after a plane crash. Like it's a pretty wild story. So his tribe has a very, very deep connection with ayahuasca. If you've sat with other Taitas, the ceremony is going to be pretty similar, but it is a little bit different with the Watoto than the other tribes of the Sibundoy Valley. To the Watoto, ayahuasca is a masculine energy. They don't consider it a feminine energy. Most people say mother ayahuasca, but when you hear the Watoto people talk about it, they'll call it father. They work a lot with mambe, which is the coca leaf, and that is the feminine energy. They're really their approach from my understanding of it, from sitting with them, is that healing is about balancing energies. It's not about making the darkness go away. It's not about things being negative, or good and bad. It's about balance. It's about maintaining balance. And the balance is something that's mental, physical, spiritual, um, and that all problems are tied together. They have their effects and they're rooted in all those realities. So his goal with his patients is to return balance to them, and to help you balance yourself out and so that you can be happier and healthier and be the best version that you want. He'll also encourage you to bring your problems to the medicine. Bring your projects. If you have writer's block, if you don't know what to do with yourself or you're not really sure what to do with your life or you're lacking passion and purpose, to bring that to the medicine and to ask the medicine to show you. Ayahuasca can be very, very interactive. Um, and that's where like the intention setting comes in. Some people set intentions like they're rubbing a genie bottle and they're making wishes, and that's not what you want to do. You can say like, "Hey, you know what? Maybe you want to get married and you're not dating anyone, or you want to find purpose in your life and you want to do something that brings you joy, but if you don't know who you are or you don't know how to have a healthy relationship, then the first step isn't just to give you your dream job because you don't know what your dreams are, or to give you this perfect partner that you don't even know how to have a relationship with. So it can be that you're getting to the root of the issue and you're working towards that. And it can be a long, road, and you have to do the work on it. Things don't just magically happen in ceremony. It is something that can create a lot of momentum and change, and amazing epiphanies and different perspectives on reality can happen that can really give you that momentum. But it's not like, oh, I went to ceremony and all my problems were solved and I know exactly what I need to do. But it can give you that blueprint, that diagnosis, and the strength to actually do and accomplish that. So let your intention be, the reason why you're coming there, and that when things get really hard, and if you have a moment where you're like, oh shit, why did I do this to myself? Oh my God, like, why am I doing this? Like, pull into that intention and be like, I'm doing this because I want to be a better version of myself. I did this because I'm sick of my own shit. I did this because I want to have a connection with God, or whatever that intention is. Let it be something that gives you strength to get through your ceremony. Um, I'm drinking ayahuasca next weekend. I've experienced ayahuasca a couple hundred times, and I still am nervous every time I do it. It's like every single time I'm nervous. I think I'm more nervous now than I was the first time I did it. Um, but I still do it. I still, go back and I still do it because I'm going. I haven't drank since July in Brazil, but I'm going next weekend and drinking because there are things I want to bring to the medicine. It's now this tool that I work with instead of a crutch I was like depending on, which is in the beginning, my first year I did 40 ceremonies, which is insane. Like, don't do that unless you're trying to be a shaman or like getting over like a serious drug addiction. But when I started doing it, there wasn't a lot of guidance, and and I tend to like just go into things very deeply and did all that. But the work it took me a year to do, I could have probably done in a weekend if I would have had the proper tools and understanding to get through that. So again, I'm drinking with the intention, and you don't need, 200 ceremonies. That's not, I mean, if you do, cool, but most likely you don't. I work with ayahuasca, so I, drink it more, but I drink it less and less, and more intentionally and more as a tool now. And it's an amazing tool. I mean, this medicine never ceases to amaze me of the transformation it can help people make and what its capabilities are. It's the most intelligent thing that I've ever interacted with in my life. And when you ask people about their ayahuasca experiences and you hear all these different stories, it's because the medicine meets you where you're at. So the experience that you get is going to be what you need at that moment in time, which may greatly differ, and why your experiences are very different. And that's why, like, me as someone I've drank a couple hundred times, I still get a little like nervous because I'm like, what's gonna happen? Um, and it's not always a scary thing. It's people are, oh God, I'm scared, I'm scared. You should be scared because it is a big thing to do. It's a big decision. It shouldn't be something like you flipped a coin and you're like, well, I guess I'm here. Like, it should be something you thought about. Um, and not to be like too cliche, but like in the Matrix, you want the red pill or the blue pill. That's kind of how ayahuasca is you're gonna get an awareness about something. So maybe you're in a relationship or a job you hate, or you're just not living very well, or you treat people like shit, or whatever it is. Um, you're the medicine's going to make you aware of that. And then if you go back into that bad behavior that maybe you weren't aware of before, you're now going into it with the awareness, and it makes it horrible. And it can make you feel like shit. And it can make a situation that was previously tolerable because you were ignorant to it or you're putting up with it now completely intolerable because now you have that awareness that you got from the medicine that this isn't any good for you. So it can it can be it can be really, it can be a tough experience to go through. Um, just to pause for a moment, see that if the journey gets heavy, how will you be supported? So there's tons of people there to support you. We're not going to talk to you when you're in the process or talk you. We don't want to impress on you in any kind of like negative way or any kind of way where you're like, oh, thank you, man. You made it all go away and you made me feel so much better. Um, we're there to sit next to you, to remind you to breathe, just to be comfort so that you know you're not alone. If you need help going to the bathroom or you maybe throw up on yourself, you need water, you need your bucket changed, we're there to support all of that. You need a blanket, you want to go to the fire. So there's lots of people there to support you. Um, and there's also you're in a container, an energetic container with a 65-year-old indigenous elder medicine man who's like one of the most experienced people out there. Um, who can help control the energy. So if you're having like a really hard time or it's getting physical, Claudina will help you. Thalia, his daughter, will help you. And then you have the team support. But we're not going to make it go away for you. Like if you're having a hard experience, you're having a hard experience. Um, it happens. It happens. And that's where we recommend like we do the breath work before because your breath is going to be the gas pedal and the brake for the experience. And so if it starts getting intense, focus on your breath. If you're not feeling the medicine, focus on your breath. Just draw yourself into your breath. If you're breathing, you're alive. And you may question that at some point in ceremony. So just I'm breathing, I'm breathing, I'm breathing. If you're starting to think like, wait, there might be something physically going on with me, then we'll have somebody come and sit next to you, um, so that you feel safe, and that you know that your body's being watched over, which hopefully gives you the confidence to relax a bit and go into your experience. When you take that cup of ayahuasca, it's like you're jumping into a raging river. And if you jump in and then freak out and want out and you're swimming against the current, it's gonna be unpleasant until you chill out. But if you jump in and just float down the river and go wee, like you're gonna have a much more beautiful experience than trying to fight it because you're not gonna win. Like, dude, you're not. I've watched probably 500 people try to fight ayahuasca, and it's definitely ayahuasca has a TKO on that. No one's won, like self included. Like it's gonna get you. So you need to just relax and trust and go into the experience. So anything that to prepare that helps you relax and surrender, I recommend doing it. I always make the recommendation of the sensory deprivation float tanks. That's what I do because I'm claustrophobic and and I'm just like freaked out about the dark. So those are like my two things. And so when I go into the sensory deprivation float tank, um, I get all weird and I freak out, and then I have to start using my tools to calm myself down. And it's the same process for ceremony. It's like, what do you do when things get uncomfortable? What do you do when you get scared? Those are the same tools that you're going to have to draw upon in this experience. Um, Yesterday I tried to go into a cave. I was like, I'm gonna prepare for my ceremony going into this cavern called Moaning Caverns up in Northern California. And it's like 16 flights down this spiral staircase from an old battleship from the 1920s. And it's like, oh God. And I'm scared shitless of heights. I'm claustrophobic. And I had a panic attack. I had like a I haven't had a panic attack in years. I had a complete panic attack in there and was like, I had to abort mission and get back out. Uh, so don't do anything like, don't go beyond your comfort. Like, I'm gonna go prepare for the ayahuasca ceremony by jumping out of an airplane. Like, I'm gonna go like race a car, climb Mount Everest, or do something that like is way beyond your things. I definitely got a little too like confident into how I was going to confront fear, and oh God. And my 8-year-old went down with no problem. But not me. So just anything that can kind of help you surrender. It can be maybe a meditation. It can be spending time in nature, sensory deprivation float tanks, yoga, just things that help build your tool chest up for coming to ceremony. Those are definitely going to be helpful. Um so we'll go through the breath work, we'll do the intros, we'll collect your phones and keys. You'll get your phones and keys back at breakfast each morning. Um and then we'll do the breath work session, and then Claudino and Thalia will come out and they'll talk for a little bit. Um, and then we'll go into ceremony. And these ceremonies are gonna be probably 6 hours long. And we'll likely go till the sun comes up or close to it. Um, After ceremony, we'll immediately have some food for you guys. We'll have soup and stuff ready. So if you're starving, like you don't have to wait till breakfast, you can eat. We tried on the last December retreats, have people wait until breakfast, and there were some people that just came out hungry, so we will not do that again. We'll always make sure we have food ready for you guys. Um, so we'll have food for you. You can sit around the fire. You can go to sleep. If you can't sleep, that's normal too. Again, you're not going to be getting a lot of sleep throughout the weekend. Um, and then we'll have Claudino may, depending on the energy, may want to start asking you guys questions right away and see if anybody has any questions after ceremony, or may wait until before the next ceremony. It just depends. With the indigenous people we work with, they really base a lot of what they do on the energy of the group. So if like Claudino looks and sees like, okay, well, 2/3 of the room is asleep, he's not going to be like, hey, let's wake everybody up and like do a share circle right now. So he may do that. He may have questions. Um, Typically, ceremony is 2 cups. You'll have your first cup and you don't get to decide the dosage. He may look at the group and be like, okay, we got a lot of first timers. He may ask, like, do you want a strong experience or do you want a deep experience? Like, what do you want? Or he may just give you a dosage. Again, like it's all like an energy read, so I can't really tell you what he's gonna do, but either one will be fine. You'll go and you get your first cup at the altar. You'll look him in the eyes. He'll say a specific prayer for you, and then you'll drink it and we'll collect the cup from you. You go back to your mat. The first part of the ceremony is going to typically be quiet. It's gonna take, there's about 30 people drinking, so it's gonna take probably 45 minutes to serve everyone. If you've had gastric bypass or any kind of bariatric surgery, you're gonna feel the medicine like within 5 minutes. Everybody else, you're looking at about 45 minutes to feel it. And if you have not taken the medicine before, it is very common for you to feel nothing on that first cup. Ayahuasca is the absolute antithesis of a drug. It is the more you do, the less you need. When I first started, I needed like 4 cups to feel anything. Now I take half a cup, half a serving, and I'm having visions. And it's because you build up that relationship and that trust with the medicine. So it's if you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs for the first part of ceremony, going like, okay, I guess this doesn't work for me. Absolutely, please go take that second cup. There are people that get in their head, well, the first cup didn't work, so the second cup's just a waste of my time. It's just gonna make me sick. It tastes like crap. I don't want it. And then they don't take it, and then they're upset they didn't feel the medicine. You don't feel the first cup? Go take the second cup. You can let them know, like, hey, I don't feel anything. If after like an hour of the second cup you don't feel anything, you can come back up to the altar and you can let Claudino know that you don't feel anything. Or you can let a facilitator know who's walking around, like, hey, I'm not really feeling the medicine. And then they can go talk to Claudino and he may say, come up and get another cup, or he'll say, just wait. Because you don't want to get yourself in a situation where you've taken 3 cups and maybe you have like a slower digestive system, and now they're all hitting you at one time, and everybody's coming out of ceremony, and now you're going into a very deep 3 cup ceremony. Um, and it can be really hard to take that second cup, but if you can you can hear it being called and you can raise your hand to get it or walk to the altar, absolutely take it. You know, you're here for this experience and you're here to get the most out of it. So do the most. However, we're not gonna like peer pressure you or anything to like take that second cup. It's ultimately your choice, but to really get the most out of it, go and take that second cup. Even if you have a very deep process in your first cup, go up and take the second cup. Um, I see a question in here. Does everyone experience visions? No, no. A lot of people don't, and that's totally fine. I didn't experience any until like, I don't know, I'd like probably around 20 ceremonies. Um, Ayahuasca, again, it varies greatly for everybody because it meets you where you're at. Um, Visions are a gift from the medicine, and they kind of seem, a lot of people have the goal of like wanting to have them, but they can be absolutely terrifying to have. And if you're not ready for them, oh, you don't want them. You don't want them. They get weird. And it's a lot, and it's a lot for your brain to kind of put together when you have them. But a lot of people hear about, somebody, oh, there was my grandfather was there and an alien, and I was seeing patterns everywhere and stuff. And if that is something that won't do you any good at this point in time to experience, then the medicine's not gonna likely give that to you. Um, for a lot of people, ayahuasca is a meditative, contemplative state. It's kind of a dreamlike state. When people get really scared, I'm like, "Have you had a nightmare before?" I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "And you lived through it, right?" You'll live through this because it can feel kind of like a nightmare. Like when you're having like a scary dream, like if it gets really intense, that's really what like my super intense experiences have felt like. Like I'm in this dream-like state. Um, and so, yeah, a lot of people, you don't have visions. You're not having like these psychedelic things where you're looking around and seeing patterns and the Lego people and stuff like that. Like ayahuasca is definitely not like how like LSD is for a lot of people or something like that because it's a spiritual ceremony in a spiritual setting and not like in the context of a drug where you can actually a lot of drugs take enough of them to elicit a psychedelic experience. But for this, it's gonna, it's gonna meet you where you're at. Um, so ceremony will go until very late or very early. There'll be food for you after that, and then we'll have around 8 a.m. We'll have breakfast ready. If at any time you sleep through a meal or you miss a meal and you're hungry, just come to the house and let us know you're hungry and we will get you food. Like you don't need to be hungry. We'll leave the food out for a really long time as well. And if like the food's cold and you want to heat it up, just come in and like heat your food up. Like let us know what you need. No one's gonna get upset for you. We're here for you guys. We're here to make you comfortable, and there's enough of us there to make sure that your needs are met. So just, vocalize to us what you need, and we will, do our best to make you comfortable. Um, when you come to ceremony, you want to dress for comfort, not for style. It's totally not a fashion show. Um, and ayahuasca can be really hard to get out of your clothes. So, like, don't wear your Gucci or Versace sweats. Wear your Target ones or your Walmart ones. Um, Sweatpants are great. Sweats are, that's like the official ayahuasca outfit of seasoned drinkers. Um, because you want to be comfortable and you want to be able to take your pants off when you need to. So like there's some really cool pants and that wrap around and have all this embroidery and stuff on them. But no, just sweats. Sweats are cool, something comfortable. A dress can be super easy. You want to be comfortable. You want to be able to take off layers. So like maybe a shirt, sweatshirt, sweatpants. That's all like great to have. And then you don't have to change to like go to bed. You just go to sleep. Um, so it doesn't have to be any particular color or anything like that. If you have an accident, of course, the dark colors will make it less conspicuous. So, dark's good. There's no energetic ties to it. Like it's not gonna block your ceremony or bring bad vibes or anything. We don't have belief systems like that. So just whatever you're comfortable in, but remember to be comfortable. Wearing shoes in ceremony, this also like your shoes just start feeling so weird on the medicine. Um, so if you have like some comfortable socks. Wear those with like some slides. Maybe put your slides like right by your mat. So if you need to go to the bathroom, you can just pop your slides on. But like having constricting shoes, um, every time I have constricting shoes in ceremony, I freak out. And then I'm like, you know, in ayahuasca trying to take my shoes off and it's not fun. So, yeah, like bring some slides for going to the restroom, some comfortable socks to keep your feet warm, comfortable clothes. People end up naked because their clothes become super uncomfortable. So, if you want to like lower your risk factor for pulling a full Monty, then comfort. Comfort, comfort, comfort. Comfort over style. Um, you want to bring a towel, bring your toiletries. If you forget anything, just let us know. We'll get you whatever. Um, so if you forget your toothbrush or something, you don't need to like brush your teeth with your finger. We'll get you a toothbrush. Like again, just let us know what you need. I am gonna be running to the store like probably 5 times a day for things. So there will be a store run where we can pick you up what you need. So find me. I'm the designated errand runner. So just let me know what you need and we'll be happy to get it for you. If you have an accident, say you brought you brought your sweats, you want to wear them again, and you went to the bathroom on them. Totally cool. Wash them for you. So just again, let us know. If you have an accident and you need to be cleaned up, that we're here to help you. So just get real comfortable with us and get real comfortable vocalizing what your needs are, and we will do everything that we can to meet those. Um, so after ceremony, we'll have breakfast, and then we'll have a little, downtime. We'll have a fire going for you guys, so you can always, sit by the fire. Um, if you're not ready to go to sleep, we ask that like people are going to be sleeping in the ceremony room, so don't go and have conversations and stuff right after ceremony. Like if you want to talk, go out to the fire to do that and let people just rest and recover in the ceremony space. And that, that if you're going to be talking with people, talk around the fire or go talk up at the house. There's some chairs and stuff there that you can sit in so that you're not like talking next to somebody's tent. And then like don't start like a drum circle, at 7 o'clock in the morning. I don't think everybody would appreciate it. So just, be a little aware of the surroundings. And then after that, we'll have a share circle, which will probably, depending on the time it goes, probably won't happen until 11. We'll let you kind of sleep when you can sleep. And then we'll have lunch at 1. And then after lunch, we'll have some activities that we'll do. Again, it's not mandatory fun. You choose to participate in what you want to participate in. And then we'll go and we'll have a late dinner. And then we'll go into the breath work and then the second ceremony. And you may be like, wait, we're having dinner at 5 p.m., but they told me yesterday to stop eating at 3 p.m. We want you to come, or hey, why are there cookies out there? Are we allowed to eat those cookies? You can. Like Daisy will probably bake some cookies and stuff. You can have them. If you want to have cookies, you can totally have them. Um, but the reason that we want you to come the best prepared you can for that first ceremony. And then we're probably starting a little bit later, for the second. So, um, anything that's out there to eat, you can absolutely eat. You're good. Uh, then that's after that second ceremony, Claudino's going to do the Limpia, which is the energetic cleansing. And he may actually do part of it Saturday night and part of it Sunday. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, or during ceremony. It just depends on the group. So he may take part of you guys and start doing limpias on you while you're in the medicine, or he may do it afterwards. And then, for sure, after the second ceremony, he will do that share and ask everybody, if they have any questions, if there's anything he can clarify for you. And he has like the most beautiful words. Like he's a great one to like ask questions to because he has very simple answers from a very indigenous perspective. And they always have like we have these such complicated problems that we can't figure out. And we're, oh, what am I supposed to do? I got 10 parts to this question. And Claudino's answers are always simple and well presented and just like epiphany inspiring. So he's just amazing. And if you guys aren't familiar with Claudino, you can Google him. Like he's one of the most renowned um medicine carriers in the entire world. He spent 2 years in a Mexican prison until February of last year because the president of Colombia like demanded he be released or trade embargoes would start with Mexico. And he was in a Mexican prison for ayahuasca. So it wasn't like for doing anything crazy. Like it was for ayahuasca, and it was the Mexican government making a stance that they didn't want this taking place in Mexico. So Claudino was detained while in Mexico for serving ayahuasca. So this guy, in his 60s, thrown in a Mexican jail or prison, like it cannot be fun. And he still came out joyous and continuing his work with the medicine. I don't believe in Mexico anymore, but just an absolute like just joy and just amazing, amazing, highly skilled uh practitioner. So you can Google him, you can watch The Lost Children and just understand like wow, like it's just such a um it's amazing that you guys, especially if this is your first time that you're getting to experience the medicine with someone who's just such an adamant, professional. Um so oh yeah, there's a question in here about the energy work. He does it in a group setting, but he goes around and works on each person individually. So you'll get like an individual Olympia from Claudino. And it'll either be he'll work on one person at a time or he'll do part and then go into the second part as a group. But it is an individual experience. And then after the last ceremony and we share, we'll have breakfast and then we'll typically have another activity and then lunch and then you're free to go. If you get a wild hair up your ass and you want to go after breakfast, you totally can. But stay and kind of integrate and settle yourself for as long as you can. We're not chasing you off the property at any certain time. We'll be up there, the entire day. So, stick around, stay for lunch, hang out. Um, you can kick it with everybody. There's no rush to get you out of the space. So take the time you need. It can be like after exhausting after the last ceremony, we're like, I just want to go home and I want to go in my shower and I want to go in my bed. Like you can really Jones for that. That's totally fine as long as you're clear to drive, but absolutely eat breakfast before you go so that you're ensuring that you're not reactivating the medicine because you don't want to like, hopefully you're not stopping at Taco Bell on your way leaving ceremony, like maybe getting something not as horrible. But if you stop somewhere and get some food and then you eat it and you're like, oh shit, like I can't operate my vehicle, you may be like that for like 4 hours. So please eat before attempting to operate your vehicle.
Recording in pro-
Um, yeah, so the other thing that's going to be offered is so we have Ace Chakra Studio Viva Cambo that's going to be offering Cambo to people before ceremony. So if you want to come at 1 p.m. and do Cambo, I'll put the information in the email and you can sign up. It's optional, but again, don't eat breakfast if you're going to do Cambo because that's going to make you purge. But Cambo's offered for an additional 150. You just pay it directly to them. We'll start it at 1 p.m. And then afterwards you can eat. We'll have some food. You can eat after that. It's a really great way to help cleanse and prepare for ayahuasca, especially if you didn't really follow the diet instructions. You can get rid of a lot of the vomiting and purging and the energy of it before going into your ceremony. And so for Cambo, for those of you that don't know, it is a frog venom. It's not the one you smoke that you have visions on. That's Bufo, 5-MeO DMT. This is not a psychedelic. It is a purgative and it is an energetic cleansing. It is the frog venom that is burnt into your arm. Um, and you will vomit. And it's served with the tea, so you don't have to drink the 2 liters of water. It's actually safer the way that Dev serves it. So you have a tea. It'll be put on your arm. It'll be a purgative. It is very, very, very physical. experience. And if you want to research it, go to YouTube. You can watch some videos on it. It's KAMBO, combo. And then I'll also in the email I send out include that information on it. But it's just a great way to prepare for ceremony. It can take the wind out of your sails, where you will need a little bit of time to recover. But again, you can relax at the site. We're just gonna have you drink some electrolytes before, so you're not going into your ayahuasca ceremony completely dehydrated, because you will purge. And this is a very, very purgative medicine. Um, so yeah, so that'll be offered. Think what else? That's all I have. I'll type it in the group chat too, how to spell it. Um, let me send it to everybody. Sending group chat. Cambo. So yeah, no breakfast that day. You can eat after it. You're good. Um, I will open it up to questions. If you have a question, you can type in the group chat. You can raise your hand, or you can just take yourself off mute. Going once, going twice. Awesome. Well, if you guys do have questions, if things come up, you can email info@Hummingbird Church. You can text the 909-471-3248. I say text because do we get a lot of phone calls? People call us like it's the hotline for people having a bad trip, and like I can't take all those calls, so I want to know what I'm getting into. So that's why we have you text first. So you can text us, and someone will call you back. Just say, "Hey, I need to talk to somebody." It is completely normal to feel nervous, to wonder if you made the right decision, for things in your life to seem like they're falling out of place and that it's not the right time for you. Um, all of that's totally normal. If anything comes up where you have like an absolute emergency, or you need to reschedule, or you're having an issue with your medication, I can move you to one of the open retreats that are on our website right now. Because we do have like 20 people waiting to get into this ceremony. Um, so if something happens, just email us and let us know. I'll move you full deposit. You won't lose any of that. Know that we'll do anything like, and because there are so many people, I can do this up until about 24 hours before ceremony. That is not at all like how we normally operate, but because there's a lot of people that want to come to this one, um, we can make those accommodations for you. So just let us know if something's coming up where you need to be moved. The sooner you can do that, the better, because we have to coordinate with people and make that happen. But just, let us know if there's anything that comes up. If you need a payment extension, we have a bunch of emails that we need to get back to. So I know some people emailed. We'll get back to them tonight. But just, yeah, communicate with us, whatever it is you need. If you have a question, let us know. And we'll get back to you. So, yeah. Do you want to say hi?
Goodness gracious.
That's my 8-year-old.
Mommy. Mommy. I'm
So
hungry.
I'll get you food. I'm just getting done. So yeah, I see Andrew, you have a hand raised?
Yeah, just a quick question. And this is so great, by the way. So really grateful to receive all this info. But with nicotine, any kind of recommendations around that? Like weaning off vaping, cigarettes?
I mean, don't try to do it all at once. That's definitely that's harder to kick than heroin. Um, if your intentions you want to quit, then totally do it, but it's gonna make it a lot rougher going into ceremony, when you're getting off of it. You can smoke throughout the weekend, just not during ceremony. Tobacco actually has MAOIs in it, which is what's in ayahuasca. So when you smoke it, it's gonna intensify your experience or make you throw up or make you sick because of all the MAOIs. So we don't let you smoke during ceremony, but after you can, before you can. If you really want to quit, smoking, then yeah, you can use this to kind of maybe prepare for that or to jumpstart it. But there's no like aside from the smoking while on the medicine, nothing that we really would like advise you not to do with it. And then Marty.
Yeah, I just had a question. Do you also do any of like the hoppy or the eye drops? I know sometimes they do that in ayahuasca ceremony, and I didn't know if that's something that you guys integrated into the program or just the
Yes. So we do hapé. Depending on the lineage, like Shipibos don't use hapé, so we're respectful of that, but the Colombians use hapé. They also use Bombay, the coca leaves, and they use Zambil, a tobacco paste. So you guys will get to experience all those medicines as well. Um, the Colombians don't work with Sananga, but if you guys want to try the eye drops, like if you're curious about it, you want to try the eye drops they burn like hell, but it's a good energetic cleansing. We have like we're all geared out, all the facilitator, like we've got all that stuff. So if there's anything like you want to try the hape, we'll have a Mambe and a Bill circle. We'll get to experience those medicines outside of ayahuasca, and then we'll also have hape too. So we'll go through like the whole drill on those and what to do with those medicines, how to take them. But if you want to do Sananga, which are the eye drops, just come let a facilitator know, and we'll uh we'll 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 administer them for you. And then Alyssa.
I I have a question about that to follow up on the last question. So all the additional um hape and everything else, it's optional. It's not
Yeah,
required.
totally
Like if you
optional.
choose to do it, you can.
Yep.
Okay.
Optional fun. You don't have to do any of it. Um, yeah, it's
Would
up
you
to
recommend that we do it before we take the medicine or
no,
after? Does
no,
it make
after.
a
You don't want
difference?
anything to really get in your way of your ayahuasca experience.
Okay.
Um, so I would recommend if you're gonna try the hape, maybe do it after. I could be throwing a curveball. I mean, Claudino could come out there and go, "Yeah, we want everybody to do it." Even if somebody comes out there and suggests, "Hey, everybody does it," it doesn't mean you have to do it. Don't ever
Okay.
feel like peer pressure into anything. They may come out, somebody may make an announcement, may say, Claudino would like to offer everybody rape, but that does not mean you absolutely have to do it. I would actually recommend don't your first time so you can
Yeah,
really,
this is the first time for me.
yeah, just sit with the medicine because rapé can make you sicker than a dog. Like, and that's fine to do that with Campbell when you have hours beforehand to recover.
Mhm.
But when you're gonna get super sick off of rapé and then you're going into ayahuasca and then you don't know what did what to you because you're experiencing both medicines for the first time just back to back.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so I would absolutely recommend just holding off on the rapé until after you've had an experience with ayahuasca.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions?
Hey, Courtney, this is Mike. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, hey.
Hey, I just remembered that we told the group that the integration call was on a Tuesday night. It's on the Wednesday night for
Oh,
this retreat.
yes, you're right. You're right. It's on Wednesday at 5 p.m. So,
Yes.
yeah. So
So I
sorry.
just
Thank you,
no,
Michael.
I just the other retreat's on a Tuesday night, but this one's on a Wednesday, so I wanted to just hop back on and try to catch you guys so everyone can hear it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. Yeah. So it is
It's the 12th
the 12th.
on
Oh, wait,
Wednesday. It's the
yeah.
12th, right?
I don't know. Let me check my days now. I don't know what's going on. Yes, Wednesday the 12th.
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect.
So we'll correct that in the communication pieces we'll send out, and you guys will get a reminder before that as well. So it'll be Wednesday the 12th at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael.
All right. Good night.
Any other questions? No? Great. Well, thank you, you guys for your time. We'll send out a recording of this call as well. And just let us know if you have any questions or anything comes up. All right. Thanks.